Hello dear children. In this video we will continue with the lecture 1 of cost and revenue analysis. Okay. So what is cost and revenue in general? By cost we actually refer to the expenditure that is incurred during the process of production by a producer or by the firm. Okay. And revenue is actually an income that is performed by a firm or a producer. Okay. And it is earned by performing operating activities or operational activities. Okay. Whenever a firm or a company or an economic entity performs operational activities or operating activities, the revenue is generated. For example, if a trader is selling the goods and the services, then whatever the sale proceeds are there, okay, whatever the money that is earned by selling those goods and services is termed as revenue in terms of economics. Okay. So now let us continue with our discussion. Okay. Now, cost of production. Since we have discussed that cost is actually the expenditure incurred in the process of production, so hence it can be described as cost of production. So what is cost of production? Now, cost of production is the expenditure that is uh, acquired, sorry, that is incurred on acquiring factors of production. Okay, there are four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and organization. And this cost of acquisition of factors of production is also known as factor cost. Okay, for land we pay rent, for labor we pay wages, for capital we pay interest, and for organization it is a profit. Okay, it is profit. So this is your factor cost. Okay, and we also have to uh, meet with some indirect expenditures also, okay, during the process of production, and these are called consumables. So you can say that cost of production is the sum total of direct cost as well as indirect cost, and this direct cost is also your factor cost. Okay, that is the cost that is involved in the acquisition of factors of production is your direct cost. Okay, and the cost that is involved in the purchase of consumables is known as indirect cost. Okay, now let me give you an example of Maggi production. We all know that Maggi is produced in a factory, right? So in this process of production there are two costs involved. One is direct cost and the other one is the indirect cost. Okay, now the direct cost is for the land, for labor, capital, I mean yeah, the organization also. Okay, so whatever the rent you are paying, whatever the wages you are paying, okay, capital sorry I mean the interest or return on capital, uh, and the profit, that is your direct cost. Okay, and indirect cost is the cost that is involved in the cost of sorry in the process of production but indirectly. For example, the lubricants. To run big machines we have to apply the lubricants so that the friction can be less. Okay, and the machine, it can last for a longer period of time. Okay, so this lubricants is your consumables, and the expense that is incurred in acquiring such consumables is indirect cost. Okay, so hence we can say that cost of production is the combination of direct cost as well as indirect cost. Okay, so when we are discussing about this cost of production we have to refer to this economic cost, by the way. Okay, so there are three components of economic cost, and they are: number one, money cost or explicit cost. Okay, number two, implicit cost, and number three, normal profit. This normal profit is actually we are talking about this for organization or for proprietorship or entrepreneurship, whatever the return that we pay is the profit, isn't it? So it is your normal profit. And I believe that you already know there are various types of profits. Okay, by doing accountancy, I hope you have learned various types of profits. That is normal profit, abnormal profit, super profit, okay, average profit. Okay, so varieties of profits are there. Okay, so we are basically talking about the normal profit. Okay, that is the return on capital employed or return on capital. Okay, in short, it is also known as ROCE, return on capital employed. Okay, anyway, let us talk about the money cost or the explicit cost. uh, Explicit cost is the part of COP, that is cost of production. Okay, we have discussed out here also, and it can also be referred to as factor cost. So whatever the amount of money that you are spending for land, labor, this is called factor cost. Okay, factor cost. Okay, and the return on the capital or the profit that is generated is your normal profit. Okay, actually, in our syllabus of economics, we don't have to study about the factors of cost in great detail. Otherwise, we could understand various theories about land, labor, capital, and organization. Like we have to study about the Ricardian theory of rent also. But these are not here in our syllabus. Okay, I don't know why it's not involved. Anyway, I believe you have understood this explicit cost by now. Okay, but remember one thing: explicit cost is actually the cost that is paid to the other people. Okay, if you are a producer, if you are an owner of a shop, okay, and the money that you are paying for hiring a labor is known as the explicit cost. Okay, in simple terms, if you are paying for the raw materials, if you are paying rent, if you are paying wages and salaries to your workers, that is known as explicit cost. Okay, now implicit cost. I don't want to go in the definition for this implicit cost. Let me just give you an example. uh, let us say that if you open a shop, okay, if you open a restaurant in Kalimpong, okay, town, uh, and you are providing service, okay, you yourself is working along with your workers or the staff members, then whatever the value of input that you are providing to the firm is known as the implicit cost. Okay, whatever the value of input that you possess is actually used or consumed by yourself in the production unit. That is known as implicit cost. For example, let me give you one more example. Uh, let us say, mm, okay, you become a CA, okay, in future. So you have opened a chamber of yourself, okay, CA. You can write your name out there, okay. So you are working in that chamber, okay, and you work for a company, but you cannot work alone. You have to hire some labor force. So you have hired a typist, okay, a junior accountant, okay, or a senior accountant, and other staff members. So whatever the cost that is incurred in getting all these factors is your explicit cost. But you yourself are working in that chamber. You are working for a company, okay, but you don't pay yourself. How can you pay salary to yourself, isn't it? So that is known as the implicit cost, because in terms of economics you are also adding an input to your work, isn't it? So that cost is your implicit cost. Okay, we don't pay to the other people. Okay, we don't pay ourselves also. Okay, anyway, now normal profit. Normal profit is actually referred to as return on capital employed. Whatever the capital that you have employed for the cost, sorry, for this process of production or for the economic activities, whatever the return that you get, whatever the amount of profit that you are getting is known as the normal profit. Okay, so a basic level of mathematics, that is for from class 5 6, we have learned that SP, selling price minus cost price, is profit, isn't it? So this is your normal profit that we are talking about. Okay, I believe that you have a clear picture about normal profit, abnormal profit, super profit, and average profit. Okay, gross profit, uh, direct profit, indirect profit. So varieties of profits are there. Okay, anyway, so hence we can say that the economic cost is the sum total of all these items. Okay, economic cost, EC, is equals to explicit cost plus implicit cost and normal profit. So EC, that is economic cost, EX, explicit cost, IC, implicit cost, and NP, that is normal profit. Okay, just like we saw out here, cost of production is the combination of direct cost as well as indirect cost. Similarly, economic cost equals to explicit cost plus implicit cost plus normal profit. Okay, now we have to move on to the next type of cost, that is opportunity cost. Now in commerce, I hope you have learned this topic, SWOT analysis. S for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunity, and T for threat, right? So we are looking at this opportunity. Okay, what the opportunity a firm can have in the market. Okay, so when you are referring to this opportunity cost in terms of money value, or the cost is known as the opportunity cost. So what is opportunity cost? Let us just have a look at here. It can be defined as the best amount of cost incurred for an alternative production of a good of the same input. And the very foundation has been uh, given by the economist Lionel Robbins. He gave a definition of scarcity, isn't it? And he also said that the inputs, or the whatever the raw materials that you are using for, okay, they have alternative uses, isn't it? For example, flour, okay, or the flour, whatever you say, okay, it can be used for the production of noodles. It can be used for the production of roti or chapati, paratha, whatever. Okay, and the same, it can be used for production of samosa also, and for the making of pizza, etc., whatever. So it has varieties of uses, isn't it? The same flour that we use in our house, so it has alternative uses, isn't it? So by producing a perfect alternative, the best cost that can be incurred is known as the opportunity cost. And remember that you have to choose a cost which is feasible, okay, which will be the cheapest one, okay, which will incur less expenditure. Okay, for example, out here you can see that there is an input, okay, that is X, and this X input, it can have the two alternatives, that is output A and output B. For example, potato. Now potato can be used for making chips and for making a vegetable, it can be added to the vegetables. Okay, so you have to choose the best one, which is the cheapest one. So output A is opportunity 1 and output B is opportunity 2. So you have to choose the feasible one. We have used the term feasible. So feasible is the cheapest one. Okay, that can be incurred in the process of production. Okay, that is attainable also. Okay, and that is your opportunity cost. Now, what are the applications of opportunity cost? Why we have to study the opportunity cost also? Because of the following reasons. Now, number one, making production decisions. So we have already discussed Robbins' theory, okay, that there is a scarcity, and scarcity is a basic problem of the economy, isn't it? And when there is scarcity, we have to make a decision. We have to make a choice. So basically, this is a problem of choice. You have to choose a correct one. You have to choose a feasible cost, isn't it? So by producing a particular commodity, like here, by producing output A, you get a certain cost will be incurred, and for output B, a different cost will be incurred. So you have to make a decision whether to produce output A or output B, because the supply of raw material is fixed. Okay, because it is scarce in nature. So you have to apply the same input only for one type of commodity. Okay, that is for the output. And here you have to make the decisions. Okay, and whenever we are talking about these decisions, we are talking about the problem of choice. Okay, hence the producers have to be decisive in nature. Okay, now the second reason is determining national priorities. Since we are talking about the economic problems, we have to give emphasis on the national priorities also. Let me give you a practical example. At the current situation, okay, at this present situation, all the scientists and the doctors, okay, and all the resources are being used to tackle with this problem of coronavirus. We are trying to revive our economy at the same time, isn't it? But we also know that these resources can be utilized for other purpose also, okay, for making guns and ammunitions also, isn't it? So we have to determine the national priorities. What is our priority? Okay, what is more important, whether to produce guns and ammunitions or the vaccine? Vaccine is important, right? So opportunity cost, it will help you to determine the national priorities also. Okay, and the third application or the importance of opportunity cost is to study consumer behavior. Okay, you can have a look at the behavior of the consumers by producing two different items or two different choices. Okay, so this way you can study about the nature of the consumer's consumption pattern. Okay, whether a consumer is consuming rice or roti. For example, if you have a plot of land, okay, and that land, it can be used either for the production of rice, that is paddy, okay, or for the wheat, that is flour. So you have to understand, okay, by producing different alternative outputs, you can identify whether the consumer, they prefer to have rice or flour, okay, or roti. So the opportunity cost will help you to understand the consumption pattern of the consumers. Okay, And the fourth reason is to determine the relative prices. Okay, now let us go back to this same chart out here, output A and output B. Now let us suppose that we are producing, okay, let us assume that we have flour with us, okay, flour, and this is your normal flour, okay, which you uh, fill in a plastic bag or whatever the kind of the packaging that you do, okay, that is your output A, okay, Ashirwad atta or whatever it is being sold in the market, okay, so that is your output A. And the same flour, it can be used for the production of the noodles also, isn't it? Now here you have to see the difference out here. There are some relative costs also. What is that relative cost? Let me just tell you that in the noodles you have to include uh, preservatives, okay, so that this item it can be preserved for a at least period of uh, 4 to 5 months or 6 months in some cases, okay. So when you are producing noodles, you have to add the preservatives. But if you are supplying the normal atta, do you have to add the preservatives out here? No, you don't have to, isn't it? So this way you can determine the relative prices also, okay. Now the fifth reason is determining factor remunerations, okay. Now what is this factor remunerations? So by factor remuneration we are talking about the salary or the wages. For example, if you are working in a company, okay, as an accountant you are working in a company and your minimum salary is 25,000, okay, that is the basic salary, 25,000, okay. There will be like DA, TA, etc., etc. So 25,000 is your basic salary, let us just suppose, okay. And you are working in a company, okay, in a firm, let us say firm A you are working, okay. And you got an opportunity to work in the firm B now, okay. And when you go to that firm B, that firm B must pay you the minimum remuneration of 25,000. They cannot tell you that I will pay you 20,000 or less than 25,000. So 25,000 is the minimum amount of the salary that you should get. So hence the opportunity cost, it helps you to determine the factor remunerations also, okay. I hope you have understood this. Okay, let me just tell you in brief one more time. That is, number one, making production decisions. Okay, that it will help you to solve the problem of choice. Okay, whether to produce output A or output B. Okay, and determine the national priorities. Whether to use the available resources for the production of the urgent or the utmost need items. That is, at present we have the vaccine situation. Okay, or the guns and ammunitions, and studying the consumer behavior. So you can study the consumer behavior by uh, this opportunity cost, whether to produce rice or wheat, okay, and to determine the relative prices. By producing output A, you will incur, let us suppose, 100 rupees, and by producing output B, you will incur rupees 110. So here you can relate the prices. Okay, for output A, we have 100 rupees, and for output B, it is 110 rupees. So you can see the relative prices. Okay, and for determining the factor remunerations, we can see that a same employee, okay, if he goes to two different organizations, what can be the minimum factor remuneration, or the factor you can say the income or the salary of a person should be, okay. Now let us talk about the real cost, private cost, and social cost. So real cost. Real cost, it cannot be expressed in terms of money values, okay, because these are completely abstract, okay, because an employee who is working in an organization makes an effort to perform that particular task, okay, to complete that task, and he makes the sacrifices also, okay. He sacrifices his time to spend with friends, that is for the movies and all, okay. He will sacrifice that time, and he will make his great effort, okay. That effort, it can be mental or physical. So that is termed as real cost, okay. And the private cost, now this actually refers to the cost of production incurred by an individual firm in producing a commodity. For example, a Nestle company, okay, whatever the cost that is incurred by the Nestle company for producing coffee, Nescafe, that is termed as private cost. So it remains private to that particular firm, okay. Now the social cost. Now social cost is actually the combination of both private cost as well as external cost. Now what is external cost? Nowhere I have mentioned about the external cost out here. So what is external cost? It is actually through the point of view, okay. Let me just tell you from the accounts perspective, okay. For example, if I have taken a loan of rupees 500 from you, okay, so you provide me the loan 500 rupees, okay, which will be paid in equal installments for 10 months, let us say, okay. So for me, you are creditor, okay. For me, you are a creditor because I owe you, okay. I have to pay you back. But for you, I am a debtor because you own me, isn't it? So in a society, there are varieties of firms, and there are various numbers of producers. So for one producer, whatever the cost that is that he is incurring for his production of goods, that is called private cost, okay. And the cost that is incurred by other firms, okay, so, sorry, other firms, is known as external cost. For example, let us suppose that there are three uh, companies out here, okay. Number one, Reliance, okay, Vodafone Idea, and Airtel, okay. So whatever the cost that is incurred by the Reliance company is the private cost, and the cost that is incurred by this Airtel company, Bharati Airtel, that is, okay, and Vodafone Idea, from the point of view of Reliance, it is the external cost, okay. And from the point of view of Vodafone Idea, the cost that is incurred by Reliance and the Bharati Airtel is the external cost, okay. And again, from the point of view of Bharati Airtel Limited, uh, the cost that is incurred by Vodafone Idea and Jio is external cost, okay. Let me give you one more example. You all are paying school fees or tuition fees, whatever, okay. Your personal expenditure is the private cost, okay. And your friends who are also paying the same amount of money is termed as external cost, isn't it? So hence the social cost is the combination of private cost plus external cost, okay. So this is the end of the first lecture video. We will continue with this topic, that is cost behavior, in the second lecture video, okay.